So when we begin of what do we do first if we're feeling anxious, if we're having sensations that we're not comfortable with, if we're not able to be present, is we begin with our breathing.
Come.
I can't, Mr. Miyagi. Not today, all right? I'm just not in the mood.
Why?
Because my whole life is going out of focus, that's why.
When you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life.
What, praying?
Breathing. No breathe, no life.
And what does breath do, or what's the importance of breath? Well, number one, it's the most important thing for our survival. And fortunately for us, we breathe automatically. It's called your autonomic nervous system. So we breathe no matter if we think about it or we want to, because we have to breathe. But changing how you breathe is so critical to managing your nervous system, to manage your emotions. When we get anxious and we start to fear the future, we start to anticipate something, we change our breath. We breathe maybe more rapidly, maybe we hold our breath, maybe we breathe through the chest, and sometimes we're not aware of that, and that's where it begins. We have to start with what's called breath awareness. And how do you do breath awareness? You sit up straight, and all you do is you feel the inhale through your nose, and you feel the exhalation through your nose. And that's what breath awareness is. And so that's where we begin with managing anxiety, is to start to be more aware of our breath. Your breath is the most powerful tool that you have at your disposal, but most of us take it for granted because it's an automatic function. You change how you breathe, you start to change how your nervous system responds, you start to change your emotions. And so the first thing we want to do is we just want to be aware of how we're breathing.
Now how feel?
Better.
The second part about breathing is to change kind of how we breathe. So to get very conscious of how we're breathing, we call this diaphragmatic belly breathing. And when you think about the diaphragm, we come into this world as diaphragmatic breathers. Most animals breathe through their diaphragm. As we become older, as we get stressed, as our posture gets rounded, we start to rely on the chest. And so changing how you breathe, whether you're starting to create anxiety or these anxious thoughts, or maybe your heart's racing or your blood pressure or nervous system starting to get out of balance, settling down, starting to use this diaphragm. So what you do is you inhale through your nose and you allow the belly to expand, maybe 5-6 seconds. And then you pause and then you exhale and the belly comes in. This is called diaphragmatic belly breathing, and it's virtually impossible if you're breathing through the belly to be anxious. And so this is a practice, this is a skill, and if you can develop this habit consciously, then unconsciously, when you start to get more of these anxious thoughts or these stressful situations, we're able to cope with it because we have that tool, or we have that habit of the way we breathe. And so diaphragmatic belly breathing is, in my opinion, the number one thing to kind of revert or kind of change courses when we're getting more anxious, when our emotions are getting out of balance, to kind of settle us down and to calm the mind.